Hello and welcome to ATEC. My name is Akshay and we are back with the last part of the student enrollment Windows application. So as I've told you in the previous part, that is the fourth part of the student enrollment application. So in that I have told you in the last part we will add those course as well manually. So we will create the forms for this course as well as we will let admin add only that users in the database. And he can create roles as well, that is he can create one another admin. Let's say he can create another viewer or maybe operator, but only admin can create that, and we will provide that authority as well to admin only. How we can do that we will see today, but before that as well I have made some small changes here to the styles of this table. So you will notice something like this in the login form as well. In the previous part as well I have told you. So you will notice here, that is I have used this I symbol for this button. Okay, so if I hover my mouse over here, so we can be able to see that password, and if I leave that, as soon as I leave that, that will be encrypted again. Okay, and in the previous part as well I have told you we can use any symbol we want for this button, but at that time it was not available, that is this symbol was not available with me. That is why now I have downloaded that from the browser. You can download that from any browser. Just type I button symbol, I button icon maybe, and you have to set resolution. You have to edit that. If you don't see here, that is if you go here and if you right click on this properties, if you go here on this in this image section, and from this if you want to choose that, so right now I have this here, but let's say it wasn't there, so we know we have to import that from our file manager or from our system. So now I can able to see that I icon, this win icon take this win icon I take as well. But if you don't see even after downloading that, so what can be the problem? You have to set the resolution to 32 by 32 or maybe 16 by 16. That should be icon resolution. You have to edit that. Okay, you can edit that in Paint as well. Okay, so now I have downloaded that icon and I have used that here only. Okay, before I have used that, so you can see that this forms icon, I have used the same icon for this button as well. Okay, so now I have done this change, as well as what I have done, you will notice here only one error provider, and before I have used two error providers, that is one for each, that is for username and password, but there is no need to use separate error providers. And why? If I go to this view code here by right clicking on that, you will notice here I have used only this single error provider, but what we have to only do, that is error provider will be single for the single form, and we have to set error, and in that what we have to do, we have to pass a different controls for which we want that error to be generated by error provider. So in this, for this text box username validating, I have passed this text box username as my control for this error provider to generate error for that, and similarly in the text box password validating, I have used that error provider login form again, but this time I have passed that control to be text box password and the respective message. Okay, so we need only one error provider for a single form. Okay, so similarly what we will do now, we will use the single error provider for student form as well, and now I have renamed that to add student form. Okay, so it was before student form only. So now let me go to that add student form. So you will notice this many error provider we have used here for all these controls, but there is no need to use that. Let me delete all these error provider from here, and we will need only single error provider here. So I will delete all this. Let me delete that. So only this error provider we need, and I will name that as error provider add student form. Okay, so for add student form, this will be the error provider. And now if I go to this view code, there should be an error because we have removed all this error provider, all the remaining error providers. So what we have to only do, we have to just change this error provider add student form here. That is, we have to replace that all the error providers with this. Let me change that here as well. Everything else is fine. Okay, we have to just change this only, and let me do that change here and here as well. You will notice I have used this error provider for all the controls, which is not required. Okay, so error provider will be single and the control will be different, which we are passing to that error provider, and it will automatically generate error for that control. Okay, and let me show you that. Let me run this once. Okay, so now guys, you know I have used only one error provider, but let me log in this. So it is providing that error for this control, that is please enter username, and let me put that is a username, and if I don't put any password and let me log in, so it is providing that error for password field as well, so that is please enter password. So only with single error provider, and we are passing different control to that for which we want that error. Okay, so let me log in this time, and we should be able to log in this time. And let me go to that add student. So here it is also the same thing. Okay, so let me add. Okay, so I won't add anything here, and let me save this. Okay, so it is providing error for that. So please enter age. Let me print anything. And if I don't, let's say if I don't select anything, so we have already um, provide validations for this male and gender, for this male and female button as well. Okay, so that this radio button, if I don't choose anything, so it is saying that please select gender. And why we have not used error provider for this? Because it is a either condition. It will be a difficult task to use error provider for both this control. So that is why I have used this text box, and I have thrown exception so that application will not move further. It will stop this save button. It will stop this save event to move further. Okay, so that is why. But as soon as I select that, let me put anything here, and now I can be able to add that in database. But I will not add that because we know it is a garbage value. I don't have to add that. And let's just see this course validation as well once. Let me save this. So it is providing error provider for, so it is providing error for this as well. So it is saying please select course. Okay, so we are done with all these things in the previous part, and I have done only small changes. Now what we have to do here, let's just have two tabs here. Let's say one tab for course and one tab for user, and we will add course manually from here only. And let's say if I go to this add student, so whatever courses we have added here manually from the edit items, that we will fetch directly from the database. That is whatever courses, let's say whatever courses we are adding here, that is we will provide one tab here, and we will do similar thing, that is for student, that is same like this. This is one tab for student, one tab for add student. So I will provide one menu, that is course, and in that there will be courses tab and there will be add course tab. So whatever courses we will add in the database that we want to fetch that record from that database directly, and we will have that in this drop down instead of hard coding that in edit items. So that also how we can do that, we will see. And as well as what we will do, we will provide one user tab. So we will add this user manually. So whatever we are making user login into this application, so these are nothing but the user. So I have told you before as well. So here, and you will notice I have added already this course table here. Okay, so this much thing I have already done because it will take more time, and I don't want to waste time in that in this tutorial, because this we have already learned in the previous tutorials, in the previous parts of this application. If you guys not aware about that, please go and check that, because I am not going to repeat all this process, because I have already done with these forms as well. In that, in here I have generated these forms as well. Okay, so if you see this course record form, this add user form I have generated already. Okay, and I have done with all these things. That is, even I can be able to save this student in the save this user into the database. That coding also I have done. And why I have done all these things before, there is no point in wasting time in this again and again, because we have already learned how to make database connection, how we can store all these things, how we can design these forms. Okay, so at that time of student form, that is add student form and student record form, we have learned all these things. So that is why I don't have to repeat this again and waste time in that. Okay, so anyway, videos length will be bigger and we have to learn many more things here. Okay, so that is why. So coming back to that database, so let me show you this time. So let me show you. For now we have this one user which we have, so it was before, that is this admin only. Okay, so now I have added this as well. Okay, you can see that I have added these two users here. So user is same but having different username and having different user role. Okay, so for one there is operator, for one there is viewer, and one there was already an admin, and we have added that manually from this database only using that query. Okay, so now So for that we are providing user here, that is one tab here from which we can able to redirect to this form, and we can add a new user. But again there is a twist in that as well. We will provide only authority to admin, that is he or she can only, that is an admin can only, that admin can only add this user into this database. Okay, and let's say operator can view this user but cannot add that, and let's say viewer cannot even see that user tab only. So let's see all these things together, how we can do that. And for that, now what I will need, I have to first generate, let me close this, I have to first generate those tabs there. Okay, so in the home form, and before that let me show you one thing. So you might be wondering that how this course I have added into this, that is this model, and I have shown you that before as well, but let me show you that again. So I don't have to repeat this, but let me show you that this is very important thing, so that is why. So you will notice I have already generated this model, this course model, and how we can do that, if I right click on this, that is anywhere in this EDMX file. Okay, so if I go to this update model from database, so from here, you know, whatever table you added newly into your database, and for that if you want to generate model, so we know we have to go to this add tab which we are already in, and in that, and why this time it is not showing anything, because I have not anything, because I don't have any new table in my database now. And if it was there, so it would have shown one arrow here, and from that arrow, if I click on that arrow, so it will show that new table, and that you can add. And if you finish that, and as soon as you finish that process, that model will be get generated here. And but that is only one step. After generating this model, we want one class as well. So after that we have to control shift, after that we have to click control shift B, and we have to build this project again. And as soon as you build this project, it will generate that class as well. So same thing it has done for that course. Okay, so you will see that class, it has generated this course class here. Okay, and user class we already have this in previous tutorials as well. Okay, and that models as well, that is for user. But how I have added that user, I have added that from database directly. But this time what we will do in the home form, so let me go to that home form, we will add tabs for them as well, that is for both that course and for that user. Same thing, same like that student. Okay, yes, I don't have to drag and drop that, because we have already dragged this menu strip here, that is for students. So that is why we can add any number of menus here now. Okay, so let me add another menu. So maybe I want that for course. Okay, so course, and below that for this menu I want these items, that is courses, and one add courses, that is add course. Okay, and one menu and one another menu for users. Okay, it will be user, and in that I want items, that users and add user. Okay, okay, all right. And just let me change designs of this as well, same like this students. So let me change the color of that. Okay, so that is back color. We have used that blue color for the student, so I will use that same color here. Let me choose that from web only. I think I have choose that from web. So let me see what color we have choose for this, because there are many colors. Okay, so it was, so I can use these same values here. Okay, let me copy this from here, and let me go to this course, and I will use this here. Okay, and for user the same thing. So these are nothing but the points for this color. Okay, and similarly for these menus. Okay, so I have used this, and I will go to this courses, I will paste that here for add courses, and similarly in this user tab. So let me show you that it now has this color, both these items, and for the users I want the same color, and for add user I want that same color. And now again one thing we have to do, whenever we go to this tab and if I click on this courses, we should be get redirected to that course record form. So how we can do that? Let me double click on that. So that event is generated here. And before that, let me do one thing. Let me go to that home form again, and let me change the name for these menus. Okay, so it has by default take that name, that is this course tool strip menu. But this is not a menu item, but this is only a menu. That is this course is nothing but a menu only, and these are the items, and I will keep those name as it is for these items. Okay, and again for this user as well, I want that name to be menu, not item. Okay, and for student I have already changed that. Okay, you will see that student tool strip menu. Okay, and let me go to that event again. And now what we want, as soon as we click on that courses, we want that course record form to be redirected. We want to get redirected to that course record form. So for that we have to create instance of that record form, that is course record form. Okay, so course record form is equals to new course record form, and we will show that using this show method of this object like this. And similarly, let me go to this home form again. Let me double click on this add student, not add student, but here courses, that is add course, and here I will make an object of that add course form. Okay, so add course form is equals to new add course form, and let me show that as well using that show method. Okay, and similar thing we have to do with that user as well. So if I double click on this users, that event get generated. So user record form, and I have already created these forms. I have told you before as well. So we will not going to invest our time creating these forms, designing this form, because that takes so much time, and we have seen that in previous tutorials. And as we have already learned that how to design this form, how to create this form, how to make database connection, how to save this data into the database, all these things we have already learned. Okay, and that is why I will not going to invest my time in this, because we have to learn so many things in this as well, in this part as well. Okay, so for add student, for add user form, and let me create instance of that as well, new add user form, and let me give semicolon there. Okay, so add user form dot show. All right, now we are done with all these things, and let me run this again. Okay, so let me use admin only, and anyway this time we have not yet provided that authorities that only admin can see that tabs. Okay, so we will do that, but before that let me show you these designs. So yes, it is right password, and let me log in. Okay, so now we have 3 menus here. So if I click on the student, so we have already done that, testing these tabs. Now let me go to that courses, let me go to that add course, and let me add one course, because if you see here, so in the database for now, that is if I execute, I have already added one course here. Okay, so let me add one course in front of you guys, or let me add through 2 or 3 courses here. So let me add what course we have added before. So let me see that, and we can see that there itself. So that is why we have created these menus. That is if I go to these courses, so you will see that there is one course for now, and that is nothing but physics. Okay, so let me just add chemistry here. So I have told you before as well, these are not we cannot consider this as one course. This is nothing but a subject, but I am only showing you some examples. You can add anything you want. I am just trying to show you how we can add this, how we can create this application, and we can add data into our database. And now that is up to you, whatever kind of database you want to create, whatever kind of application you want to create. This is only one example of an application. You can create any application. You can create application for customer order relationship as well. Okay, so customer relationship kind of application. There is loan payment application. There are any number of application you can create. This is only one example of Windows application. Okay, so let me add fees here. Let me add only 1000. Okay, so let me save this. So you will notice course added successfully, and where we can see that in this course menu item, that is this. And yes, this duration I have mistakenly added as 2000, and yes, it was by mistake. I have added this 2000 in this column, that is in this duration. It should be year maybe, or maybe months. And why I have taken that as varchar, if you notice here, I have taken that data type as varchar for this duration as well. And why? Because that course duration can be 6 months, or can be 1 year, or can be many months. So that is why I have taken that as varchar, so that we can add the value something like 1 month, let's say 1 year. So that is why I have taken that as varchar. We can take that as int as well. So we can take that as int as well, and after that you can only provide the integer value, let's say, and we can specify that it should be in year only, or it should be in months only. Okay, so we can do that as well, but I have used that varchar here. Okay, and let me just edit that. So let me go there and let me just edit that. So not a big issue. We can edit that using this query as well, that is update that course and set course duration is equals to 1 year, where ID, that is course ID, is equals to, that is for this course ID I want that change. Okay, here for this course ID, so course ID is equals to 2, and let me execute that query, and let me just see that again. Okay, so now it is good. Okay, so now let me just quickly add some courses here. Let's say English, and I will keep that as 1 year only, and fees, let's say 3000. I will save that. Okay, again I will add maths, maybe 1 year, 4000 maybe, and let's say biology, and let's say 2 year, 5000 can be the fees. And now why I am adding these courses here, so you will, if you recollect, I have told you what we will do this time. Instead of, if I go to this student form, that is here, so instead of manually adding these courses here, we know what we have done. We have right click on this combo course, and we went to this edit item, and from there we have added these courses. But what this time we will do, we will automatically fetch this record from the database, and in the future if we add one new course into the database, that option will automatically be here as well. That is that option will be, that new course will be available in this drop down as well, so that we can choose that course for the new student. Okay, so if they want, so that is why. Now we have checked that. Now in this user tab, if I go to this users, so for now I have these 3 users here, and I can add one user as well. So let me add that. Let me show you. We can add that. So I will use the same user only. Okay, that is Akshay Borje, but username will be different. Okay, so Akshay B, let's say 3, because I think I have already. If I go to these users, okay, so B1 and B2 I already have. So I can have that b3, and let's say password will be Akshay b3 1994, and I have to confirm that Akshay b3, and you will notice I have provided this I button here as well. Okay, and we are also letting user confirm this password because it is very sensitive information. That password should be remembered by user as well. Okay, so that is why I am making user to confirm this as well, and as well as I have provided another layer, that is he or she can see this password. So what kind of a password he has added, or he or she has added, he or she has created here, and in confirm section as well he or she can confirm that. Okay, so this is the same password I have added here. Okay, so alright, and let me select role. For that, let's just create one another admin. Now we have two admin here. Okay, so let me just save that. Now user added successfully. If I go to this users tab, we will see that here. Okay, so there is one another admin now. Now we have two admin in this database. So now what we will do, let's say we only want to provide authority to the admin, that he or she, whoever is admin, only can see this user tab. Or let's say operator also can see this user tab. Operator can also see this users here, but operator cannot add these users here. We will provide that authority to admin only. And for viewer, we will not even have this user tab here. We will completely make this tab invisible for the viewer. Viewer only can see the students, the same something like this, that is this list. So I have added the students here as well. Okay, so you will notice some of the students I have added already here from the database. And why I have done that, in the previous tutorial if you recollect, so I have told you one thing, we don't have to care whatever number of students or whatever number of record we are adding to this grid view, that is this data grid view. We don't have to worry about that. There can be any number of student and any number of record in this. So that data grid view automatically will take care of that. If it is going beyond the range, so it will automatically provide the scroll bar here. Okay, so it is providing that scroll bar here. Okay, so that is why. So now coming back to the point, viewer can only see the students. Same thing he can do. Viewer only can see these courses, but he or she cannot. That whoever is viewer cannot add students. Okay. So we will provide these authorities now, and how we can do that, let's just see. And after that we will see how we can fetch that record from the database, and we will show that course name here in the drop down instead of adding that manually. That also we will see, but first let's just create some authorities for these user roles. Okay, so from where we can do that, let me go to that login form. Now we know we are making user login into this form. Okay, so whatever username he or she enter here, and whatever password he or she enter here, we are making this user authenticate in this login event. Okay, so if I double click on that, so in this user authenticate check method, so if I go there, we are checking that authentication here. So now one thing what we have to do, we have to fetch that complete record of that user. So whatever username it is providing, we have to check that, we have to fetch that record from the database. And why? Because from that record we want that user role, and that user role we will pass to this home form, and according to that user role we will show that tabs, or we will disable those tabs. And how we can do that? So for that, let me just fetch that record first. So now we know this will be the username. What we will do, we will use one variable here, user record, and in that what we will do, db dot student enrollment user, and in that we will find that user, whoever has this username. Let me just provide that username here. So what this find method will do, it will give that record of student, whoever has that username. So we will get that here, and now from that, in that there will be a user role. So that user role we can find from here. So user role is equals to user record dot user role. You will find that. Okay, so I can see that in IntelliSense, and that user role we will pass into this home form constructor, and now it will give error. And why? Because for now it is only having that default constructor, So now what we can do, we can create one another constructor, and that will be a parameterized constructor, and that all these things, parameterized constructor, how we can create them, we have already learned this in C# tutorial series. If you have followed my C# tutorial series, so you should be aware of this thing already, and if you are not, I recommend you to go and watch that tutorial, that is constructor overloading maybe, or maybe constructors in C#, and link for that I will provide in the description below. You can check that out. But for now I will not going to go deep in that is in that topic, because it will take time. And now what I will directly do, we want to create one parameterized constructor so that we can pass this user role here. So for that, what we can do, we will go to that home form. We can go there from here as well. If I right click on this home form, go to definition. So here there are two home form. So here there are two forms. One is a designer file and one this CS file. So let me go to that CS file. So in that, what we will do, we will use a parameterized constructor, that is public home form, and in that what we will do, we will take one parameter that will be a user role, and to what we will initialize that, we will take one property here, and we can take that. Okay, so properties, and that will be string, and name of that property will be user role. Okay, so we will initialize this parameter to this property, and now we have that user role there in this form, user form, in this form, that is this home form. We have initialized that property, and now we can use this user role here. But now how we can use that? We know first we have to initialize all the components of this home form. If you notice, in this constructor it is calling that initialize component. And what is this initialize component? If I right click and go to that definition, so you will see this is nothing but also in same class only, that is home form only, but it is a partial class. So that is why we can create any number of partial classes. All the partial classes will have the access to their contents. Okay, so let's say if this partial class has this component, that is this I component, that is this I container component, or let's say it is having this definition of this panel home, this I label welcome user. So all these things also, this home form also, that is this home form.cs also can be able to access that, because it is nothing but a partial class, that home form. So all these partial classes can share this data in between them. So that is why in this designer file there is this initialize component method. In this, all the definition of this control are there. So if you can see here, if we go to this design, whatever control we have designed here, that is this menu, that is this label, and again there are these menu items. So all these things are defined, and where these are defined in this designer file, and this is nothing but also home form only, but it is a partial class, so it is also accessible to this home form.cs as well. So that is why the definition of that is here. All these controls are get defined here, all these properties are defined here, and they are initialized here, and that is why they are kept in that initialize component, and compiler is automatically created this file, because, and that is why we cannot do changes, we cannot do modification here. And if I do so it will generate an error here in this design form. Okay, so that is why I have to create property here only, that is this property here only. If I change that, if I do some modification in this designer file here, so it will throw an error. So that is why. And now what it has done, so coming back to point, now what it has done, there is this method, and in that all these components are defined, and this method it has called, that is compiler has automatically called in this. Compiler has called in this automatically, that is in this constructor, that is in this home form. So now what we will do, we will not call that here, but I will cut that from here, and I will call that in this new constructor which we are created, that is the parameterized constructor. And in that, after initializing this component, what we will check, if this user role, that is if this user role is equal admin, and then only what we have to do, what we want to do, we want to show that tab, we want to enable that tab, but for that we have to disable that. Okay, in first place. So go to home form definition. So go to home form design, and I want to just make this user invisible. So I can go to properties of that by right clicking on that. So you will find that visible tab here, and let me make that as false. So as soon as I make that as false, it will be invisible for all the user except which the user roles we will provide here. Okay, so for that it will be visible, and where I can check that. So here, if user role equal to admin, and let's say and user role is equal operator. Okay, so for this only, that user tool strip menu will be visible. Okay, so let me make that here visible equal to true, and let's just check this. We will check this first condition, and we will create another condition. There are another conditions. So let me just run this, and this time I will not use any admin or any operator, because we know we have this user here. So let me see those users from there. Let me execute this query. We know we have one viewer here, that is this. So Akshay B2 we will use this time. Okay, so let me go there again. So we will use this Akshay B2. Okay, so that is nothing but a user. So that is nothing but a viewer. So Akshay B2, and let me close this. It was already opened there, so that is why it is yes, it is throwing error. It was already opened, and let me run this again. So let me use that Akshay B2, and that is nothing but a viewer. So Akshay B2 1994. Let me see that if it is correct. That is whatever password I have put there. Okay, so let me log in here. Okay, so there is one exception. So for that, let me just run this in a debugging mode, and we will see what exception it is. I think it is the same. I think it is an exception for this database record. Okay, so let me just put that debugger here, and let me just run this in a debugging mode. Okay, so let me put these credentials. Akshay B, that is Akshay B2, and password, that is Akshay B2 1994. So let me log in. Okay, so that point is okay. So that debugging point has come here, and we know username is this, and we are checking in this student enrollment if there is this username. So let me just step over that. Let me go to this. Let me step over that. Yes, so it is throwing error for this. And what is the error? Let me just again. Yes, that error will be the same that we have seen earlier. The type of one of the primary key values did not match the type defined in the entity. Okay, so I got this problem. Let me just stop this. Let me close this. Okay, so this find method is expecting an entity with primary key, and that username is not a primary key. So that is why what we have to use, let me just stop this debugger here, and instead of this find method, we will loop through this database, that is the student enrollment users database. And why we are looping through that, let me show you. So let me put that inside users, and then we will loop through that. So for each, that is where item in users, and let me go there. Okay, so here what we will check, if that item dot user role, that is username is equal this username. Okay, so we will check that here, and if it is so, we will add that let me take one variable here, that is var. Yes, we have already added that. Just I have to define above here. So let me take that above here, and we will initialize that to string for now. And if it is so, in that database, after looping through this database, and if we find that item.username is equals to this username, then we want to initialize this user role to this item dot user role. Okay, and now we have that user role here, and we are already passing that. Okay, so let me pass that again. I might have removed that. Okay, so now let's just try and run this again without debugging mode, because I think this time should, because I know this time it should work. So Akshay B2 and Akshay B2 1994. Let me log in. Okay, and that user tab is invisible, if you can notice. Okay, and for which, for only viewer account. But what if I would have logged in with the admin account? Okay, so for that, let me just change this password here. That is, I should get rid of this 2. Okay, so this is nothing but one admin account. Let me log in. Okay, so it has not made that tool strip menu visible. And what is the problem? Let's just see that. So after we are initialized, okay, so that is the problem. We have checked the and condition. It should be either condition. Okay, so if it is admin or if it is a operator, so for that it should make that tool strip menu visible. So let me just run this again. And Akshay B 1994, and let me just show you that same condition for this account as well. Okay, so you guys might be thinking that it should have been visible because I have used that and condition for this as well, that is for this viewer account as well. There might have been that problem only, but it is not something like that. So let me show you that again. So Akshay B2 1994. So now we know this is a viewer account, and if I go to this login, if I click on this login, so it is invisible for that view. So it is invisible for that viewer. But let's try that for one admin, that is one admin account. So let me just remove that 2 from there. Okay, so it is admin account. Let me log in there. So for admin it is visible, that is that user tab. And same thing for operator. So we know we have this operator, that is Akshay B1 here. So that should be here 1. Okay, so it is an operator account. So for operator as well, that your user tab is showing there. That user tab is visible there. Okay, so if I go to this users, you will see this Akshay B1, whatever account we have just logged in with, this is nothing but operator, and that Akshay B2 was viewer, so that is why it was invisible for that viewer. And for this Akshay B and Akshay B3 as well, it should be visible. So let me show you that for Akshay B3 as well. Okay, so we will check all these conditions. So here it should be 3. Okay, so let me log in. Okay, so this tab is visible for this Akshay B3 as well, because that is nothing but also admin. Now what we want this add user tab to be disabled for all the accounts except admin. Only admin can have the authority to add these users. And as well as what we want for viewer, all the viewer account, this add tab to be disabled. That is, viewer should not add this courses, add the students here, but he or she can only see the students, or let's say list of student or list of course here. Okay, that we want. So now for that we will provide one condition. That is, first what we have to do, we have to make a default behavior, that is from home form design, that is for this tabs. For this add tab, I will go to this properties, and there should be this enable tab, and I want to make that, and I will make that as false. Okay, so similarly for course, I will make that tab false. Okay, and similarly for this user as well. For operators we know For operator, I want that as false. Okay. Okay, so now this design work is completed, and in that homeform.cs, what we have to do, we have to just come here and add one condition, another condition here, that is if user role is equal operator, then what we want that add user tab, that is add user menu item, we want that to be, we already made that disabled, so we have to enable that for admin. Okay, so for all the accounts it will be disabled, for only admin it will be enabled. So there is this property enabled, and that we have to set true, because by default we have set that to false. Okay, and one another condition what we want, we have make these tabs, that is this add student and this add course student, add courses tabs as disabled. We have made that disabled by default, but for admin we want to make that as true. Okay, so and for operator as well. Okay, so we will take one separate condition for that as well. Okay, so add user toolstrip menu, not add user but add student toolstrip menu item is equals to, that is dot enabled is equals to true, and that add course toolstrip menu item dot enabled is equals to true. Okay, and again for operator as well this should be true. So that is why where we can move this condition, we can move this condition here as well. So we know here also it is admin, so that is why we can admin and operator for both admin and operator we want these tabs to be enabled, but only for admin this add user toolstrip menu should be enabled. Okay, and for viewer all these tabs should be disabled, whatever we have made enabled here, and as well as we want this user toolstrip menu to be invisible for that user. So let's just see again. So let's just check all this condition again, and let's just run this application, and I will first log in with viewer account. Okay, so this Akshay B2, this is nothing but a viewer account, Akshay B2 1994, let's say Akshay B2 1994. Let me log in. Okay, so this is a viewer account, that user tab is invisible for this, but viewer should also not able to add the student. Okay, so for viewer it is disabled, he or she can only see this list of student here, and if that viewer go here, he or she can only see these courses here. Okay, but he or she cannot add these courses. And now let's just see what operator can do. So we know that Akshay B1 is operator, and let me change that here as well, that is just password. So yes, it is correct. Let me log in, and now that operator can see this user tab, but he or she cannot add this user, but only can view the users like this. And as well as he or she can add anything here, that is student and course he can add, but he cannot add another user. That authority is only for the admin. Admin can only add new user, he can decide whatever user role he want to give that user. Okay, and let me just log in with admin. Okay, so it is alright. Let me log in. So admin can do whatever he want. Okay, so he can do all these things. He can go to these courses, add courses, he can add these courses, he can add these users as well as he can see them. Okay, so he or she can be able to add these users. He or she can give any role they want. Okay, so now we are done with this authority check. Now what we want, if I go to the students, if I go to this add students, so these courses I want these courses to be fetched from the database directly, and I don't want to provide them manually. So for that what we can do, let me just close this. And now we know in this student form, let me just close all the tabs except this, close all but this. Okay, so now what we are doing, we know if I right click on this edit items, we have added that courses from here, but I don't want to add them from, but now I don't want to add them from here. So let me get rid of that and let me click OK. So now we don't have any courses. So let me show you that. And for now, what I will do, we will again and again will be running this form only. So for that what I can do, I will go to this program.cs. So instead of login form, I will use that add form, that is add student form object here. Okay, so that we will directly get that form only, that is add student form. Okay, so now if I go here, so now there is nothing here. So that is why we want that record, that is this name of courses, directly from database. So now how we can do that, let's just see. So we'll go to that add student form design, we'll right click on that and go to view code. So here we want that record to be fetched from the database, that is for these courses. Okay, so this courses I want, that is we are initializing whatever selected item, it is equal to course, so that we want from the database. And how we can do that, we go to this add student form, and if you click on this only, there is this small arrow here. If I go to that arrow, and I can I can check this use data bound items. So let me just check that. What we can do, we can use this data source. Okay, so let's just add, or we already have that database, or we already have that data source here. So this so student db set course. Okay, so this data source we already have, that that is that course database. Okay, and display member, what we want to display, the display members, that should be names only. Okay, so we are not able to, okay, so for now we are not being able to see anything here. So for that what we will do, let's just add one new project only. Let's just add one new data source only, okay, directly. So let me go to that add project data source, and in that let me select that, next, and this will be only the database, that is student db. So let me click next here. So it is retrieving database information from the database. Okay, and I will name that as course combo box. Okay, and what I will do, I will select that course table from there. Okay, so I will right click on that. So I will check that, and I will click on this finish. Okay, and now if we go to this display members, we can be able to see that. So for display members, we want that course name and value. I want, okay, so we don't need this value for this project, or maybe in this project, whatever I will be showing you in this tutorial. But this is very important that this value should be this ID. Okay, so we should always find this table with ID. So value should be ID, and whatever we want to display, that should be name. So now, and selected value, I don't want anything as default. And now let's just try and run this. So we'll see if it fetched from the database. Yes, it is fetching that record from the database, and you will see that biology as well. And now it has by default selected that physics. So that is why in that only, instead of this text, that is, let me close this once. That is, instead of this text we have used here, now we cannot use this as soon as we have used that data source for this combo box. So this is how we fetch that record from directly from the database, and as well as we have done all this authority check, as well as this user role check, that is this user role check. So according to user role, we can give authority to, we can give authorities to these users. Okay, let's just lastly check this application once again if it is looking good as well. So let me go to that login form, that is login form. Yes, not login form. Let me change that from here, that is program.cs. So I have to again pass login form there, and let me run this. Yes, it was already running, so that is why I have to close this and let me run this again. So Akshay B 1994. Let me see that it is correct. Let me log in. So this is Windows. So this is home window. I can go to any tabs, user. But one thing you will notice, we have not provided the user to resize this form. Okay, so there is no option. He can resize this, but he or she can maximize this. One thing you will notice, guys, here, if I close this, user can do something like this. Now there is no point maximizing this login form. To let our user maximizing this login form. So that is why what we can do. And if you don't want your user to maximize any form, so for that what we can do, just go to this login form here and let me right click on that. That is outside this, and that is on the form actually. So I'm clicking on the properties of this form, and in that you will find one tab there. There should be this maximize size, that is this maximize box. Okay, so this is now by default true, and if I make that as false, and now if we run this, and now you will notice there is no option me to maximize this. Okay, so maybe I have told you that this will be the last part of this application, that is application series, and in the previous part as well I have said that this will be the last part of the student enrollment application, but there are still some things that we are left with, and I had to explain you that that is how we can edit these items. Okay, so let's just consider if we are adding these data. Okay, so here let's consider this user form. We are adding some data here. Let's say we have added some data and we have saved this also. We have saved this in the database, but what if we want to edit some of this? Let's say we have put a wrong name here. Let's say we have made spelling mistakes there. So in that case, we should be in the position to edit this. That is, edit that record from the database, and as well as we should be in the position to delete that as well if we want. So how that we can do that, we will see in the next part, because if I explain that in this very tutorial, so this tutorial's length will be so much bigger, and you guys will also not be able to understand after investing your time learning so much things in a single tutorial. So that is why we have to extend this part further, and that is why we will see that in the next part, and that will be the last part for this application. So that is why we will meet in that part, and till then subscribe this channel if you have not already, and if you like these videos, and hit the bell icon so that you will get the notification whenever I upload that new tutorial, that new video. So that is why, and like, comment, share these videos, and we will meet in the next part, and till then stay tuned and thank you.